Day of the Tentacle is a classic point-and-click adventure game from the olden days of 1993. It's considered a high watermark for the genre, and it also happens to be one of my absolute favourite games, so I was delighted to check out the HD remake put out by Double Fine. But if you're an old-school fan of the game, is there enough here to warrant another purchase? And if the original was before your time, should you even bother to check it out? Let's find out.
Have any people ever been hurt in this thing?
Of course not. This is the first time I've ever tried it on people.
Day of the Tentacle puts you in control of 3 college students adrift in time, attempting to stop the diabolical machinations of a malevolent, disembodied tentacle creature with aspirations of global conquest. This absurd plot takes place in the family home of mad scientist Dr. Ed Edison, not just in the present, but also 200 years in the past and 200 years in the future, when tentacles rule the Earth. The game has you guiding each character around the garishly warped mansion with your cursor, poking and prodding the delightfully organic environments until they give up their secrets. Tentacle hits a real sweet spot with its level design. Rooms are detailed but not distractingly so, and it's very easy to see what's important and what's just background fluff. Investigating the space around you is often a reward in itself. The game wants you to take the time to poke about. It's fun not just because it's a devious puzzle box, but also because it's a cute and reactive toy. The puzzles are clever, taking advantage of the 3 separate time periods to set up some fun cause and effect. I promised myself I wouldn't spoil anything for you guys, so let me just say, boy do I love the thing you end up doing where thingy changes the thing so you get a new thing that lets you leave the place. Everything is generally well signposted and sensible, for a given definition of the word, and only a few puzzles don't adhere to some kind of basic cartoon logic. That said, it's difficult for me to be completely objective here, since this is a game I've been returning to since I was a child. It all made sense to me back then anyway. It's tightly designed and cleverly builds later puzzles around the player's growing familiarity with the many passages through and around the mansion. It never feels sprawling like later adventure games, and it never loses its focus. It's also just really funny, and thankfully it remains funny to this day. As a remake, it's quite remarkable. The high-def art remains faithful to the original, although the keyframe-heavy animation style of the time suffers a bit at 1080p. The game allows you to switch between the original and the update at the push of a button, allowing you to see just how much had to be rebuilt for this release. Preservation and polish extends from the art to the soundtrack, voice recording and user interface, making this the best HD remake of a LucasArts classic yet, especially when compared to the reverse engineering done to the remastered Monkey Island games in a misguided attempt to create visual continuity with that series' more recent efforts. Unlike Monkey Island, the remastered Day of the Tentacle looks like the Day of the Tentacle we remember, only nicer. This edition also includes commentary from many of the game's original creators, along with an expanding gallery of unlockable concept and production art. Probably the best thing I can say about the game is that it still holds up. If you've never played Day of the Tentacle before, this is the nicest way to do it, with clean visuals and a responsive new interface that translates well to our modern gaming setups. If you have played the game before, this will serve to remind you that yes, you do have good taste. I mean, how many times can you say that about your favourite things from 1993? I'm Lee, this has been Button Bash.
I feel like I could. Like I could. Like I could. Take on the world.